tears on Travis Kelce Taylor's brilliant wedding request transformed everything. Travis Kelce was known for his swagger on the field, his great energy, and that obvious laugh that could brighten a locker room. He had never been an overly sentimental guy, but tonight, everything hit him at once as he sat by himself on the balcony of the Nashville estate they were renting for the weekend. The night air was cool, smelling of magnolia and honeysuckle. Above were velvety indigo flecked with stars. He could just faintly hear a guitar, soft, acoustic, raw, somewhere far away, Her Is It. Taylor was downstairs working on a surprise she had not told him about. She mentioned that evening she needed some alone time. He respected it, gave her space, but he was unaware she was organizing something that would challenge the very core of his heart. Here and there they had discussed marriage, teased about what their wedding would be like. Travis always imagined it would be something lavish, celebrity-studded, cameras, paparazzi battling for the ideal shot, and yet Taylor, always the wild soul, had been planning something quite different under her public perfection. Travis woke up the next morning smelling fresh lavender and found a handwritten note on his pillow. "Meet me in the barn. Just your heart. No cell phones. Passion." Still perplexed but intrigued, Tay rubbed his eyes. While surprises delighted Taylor, this felt more profound. He headed to the barn at the far end of the estate, throwing on a hoodie and joggers. Still rustic, it was lovely and covered in soft fairy lights. The world stopped as he walked in. She was there in the middle of the barn. Taylor wore a flowing white dress, not a wedding gown, but something ethereal, understated but magnificent. Her hair, kissed by the morning sun, was down. Barefoot and standing on a little rug surrounded by wildflowers and candles was she. Travis came to a stop precisely. Softly asking, "What is this?" His voice caught. She grinned, but this was the kind of smile you give when your heart is wide open, vulnerable, real. It was not her typical stage grin. She said, "I wanted to show you something. Something I have been polishing. A bit of my soul." She took up her guitar and settled on a stool. Hands in his pockets, Travis stood motionless, trying to decipher her attitude. She then got to singing Forever Where You Are. The songs had raw, real, very emotional quality. "I have sung silently to stadiums, but never to the man who healed the violence in a heart once driven from love so far. I now want always where you are." Every word seemed to him as a touch to his chest, a confession, a promise. "You taught me to wear no glittering crown, to laugh without writing it down. You held me when I was a tired, slightly lost girl, not Taylor Swift." His eyes welled up and his throat closed. Nobody had ever sung to him like that, not for the world, not for show, not for anybody else, but just for him. Taylor turned to face him with twin, sun-shining eyes as she was finishing. She whispered, standing slowly, "I don't want a million people watching us. Promote, always. I want no dress worth more than a car. Neither exclusive rights nor a magazine deal appeal to me. All I ask is for you." Heart hammering in her chest, she moved closer. "Right here today. I want to be married to you. Not glitz, not pressure, just you and me and the vows we intend with all we are." Travis blinked, surprised. "Wait, you mean exactly as it is now?" She nodded. "I spoke with her families already. Your mother started to cry. My dad remarked it was just about time. All of them are en route." He looked around the barn again. It had all been prepped. Rows of flowers, 2 chairs, an altar built from old oak. Even a golden retriever pup with a bow tie lay by the side, softly panting. Taylor crept into his arms. "Say something, big buddy," and he broke. The tears came fast and hard. Super Bowl champion, NFL toughest guy, the life of the party, Travis Kelce, was crying and clutching her so tightly he felt he might never be able to let go. He choked, dragging back just enough to glance in her eyes. "I have never," he said. "No one's ever done something like this for me. This is the most beautiful thing anyone's ever said or sung or done. I wanted to be with you, I not cared where it happened." They kissed the sort of kiss meant to say, "I found you." They stood hand in hand as the golden sun poured into the barn and painted them in tones of hope and eternity, the kind of kiss that meant more than any ceremony could later that afternoon. Travis had changed into a white linen shirt. Taylor wore a crown of wildflowers. His trademark chain still hung around her neck. Their families stood in the soft glow, some crying, all smiling. The officiant spoke, but the world vanished. They just saw each other. Do you promise, Taylor whispered, always to be my safe place? My champion and teammate do, also Travis replied. When I'm old and gray and the only stadium is our porch, do you promise to keep singing to me? Voice breaking. She cried and laughed through them. I do. And when they planted kisses to mark their vows. While Travis only heard her pulse steady and true against his chest that night, the barn burst in cheers. Sitting on the same balcony, they had no press, no crowds, only stars, lavender, and love. He said, sweeping a strand of hair from her face, I don't care how many rings I win. Always, this will be my biggest triumph. She grinned then, running her fingers over his cheek. Remember always, where you are. A pledge to recall, the emotional flashpoint of Travis Kelce's genre fiction, romance, or drama. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce had first locked eyes backstage at a Los Angeles charity event almost 3 years ago. From that point on, they had evolved from curious strangers to lovers negotiating a world that watched their every action. But nothing, not the flash of celebrity, not the cheers from sold-out stadiums, nor the scrutiny of tabloids, could have readied Travis for this moment. It was the night before their wedding. They had chosen an intimate ceremony in the Scottish Highlands, far from flashing cameras and screaming fans. The air was fresh, the aroma of blossoming heather wafting through the open windows of the stone estate they had hired for the week. 300 years old. Like something out of a fairy tale, it was timeless and exactly what Taylor had dreamed of since she was a little girl. Inside, the estate was glowing with candlelight, their closest friends and relatives gathered in soft conversation over mulled wine and historical tales, but Travis had vanished, nerves boiling in his chest like a shook soda can. Standing by himself in the library, he focused on the flickering fireplace, while hands buried in his customized slacks watched. He heard her then. Her voice was gentle and reluctant. Travis turned there, barefoot in a cream-colored robe, her hair down in soft waves. No makeup, just her, the real Herté, the one he knew in quiet mornings and long-distance FaceTime calls after exhausting games. The one who once sang him a love song that made him cry when none else was watching. Hey, he said, smiling, although the nerves in his stomach tightened harder. Can we talk, she asked, closing the door behind her. He nodded and moved aside, letting her sit on the plush velvet sofa. She looked at him with a piercing gaze. She swore she could see his soul. I've been thinking about tomorrow, fingers lacing and unlaying in her lap about our vows, and I know we're exchanging the traditional ones, but her voice cracked. She blinked, then reached into the pocket of her robe and pulled out a folded piece of paper. I wrote something. It's not a song, it's not polished, but it's real from my heart, and I want you to hear it before tomorrow. I don't want the world to hear it first. Travis's throat tightened. He nodded slowly, then knelt in front of her and laid light hands on her knees. I'm all ears, sweetheart. She inhaled shakily, unfolded the paper, and started to read. I have written love stories since I was old enough to hold a pen. To the man who broke through my guarded heart. I pictured second chances, heartbreaks, and fairy stories. I lived in songs and rhymes, but then you entered not like a prince, but rather like a storm, strong, real, unvarnished, and suddenly the stories I created couldn't hold a candle to the one we were living. You showed me that occasionally love smells like beer and takes dance lessons just to make you smile. Sometimes it comes in football cleats and Super Bowl rings. Sometimes it doesn't always come with perfect timing or neat edges. The world got too noisy, so you held me at my lowest when I cried into your chest and saw me at my highest, surrounded by flashing lights. You never asked me to be anyone else, so tomorrow when I say I do, I'm not just getting married a man. I'm marrying my best friend, my defender, the only person who sees the nervous girl behind the pop star and loves her harder for it. I vow to love you fiercely, like I love my music without apology. I vow to support you through wins and losses on and off the field. I'm going to keep penning our narrative, one orderly, beautiful chapter at a time. If one day life gets difficult and we forget what this felt like, I will sing this moment back to you. I'll remind you, since my favorite song I have ever written is this one, Love. Travis was silently crying, his lips shaking, eyes fixed on her like she was the only thing that existed. By the time she looked up, he said, I don't even know what to say. She said, you don't have to say anything, gently rubbing a tear from his cheek. Before everything gets big tomorrow, before the world makes it about flowers and dresses and photos, just wanted you to know. Travis took hold of her hand, brought it to his lips. On the field, I have had broken bones and torn ligaments, but nothing has ever hit me like you just did. Damn. Tay, you scored low. Desperate, like if he held her tightly enough, he drew her into a hug strong enough, perhaps he could capture this moment always. They stayed like that, curled up on the library floor, heartbeat sinking, under the dim glow of candlelight. The next day, the world watched a radiant Taylor Swift walk down the aisle to a sentimental Travis Kelce, who struggled to keep it together as she approached, saw the tears in his eyes, the tenderness within their kiss, and the joy in every step of their first dance. But only he knew what she had said the night before. Only he knew the vow that didn't make it into the celebration, but made its way into his soul. And as the music played and laughter echoed across the Scottish hills, Travis whispered in her ear, "When the universe forgets, I'll remind them. But when we forget, just sing it to me again." She smiled. "I do every time."